Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are live. It is Saturday. It is Saturday. It is Saturday. We have an early rivalry week. Um, a bunch of important games. We got the Oregon Civil War. We got the Battle of Colorado. We got the backyard brawl. I mean, we got Apple Cup. You name it. Pretty much a bunch of important rival games today. Um, Man, another Saturday. I am pumped to get it into the games. And just, another day, another beautiful day of college football. So glad y'all are joining us today. Chandler will be here shortly. So I'm just starting it out by myself today, getting a couple things booted up here at the beginning of the show. But yeah, tell your friends, tell your family, come in, say hello. We're here, we're live. But yeah, if we want to get started off on one of these games, so let's go ahead and talk about Big Noon Kickoff. We got Wisconsin playing Alabama in Madison, one of the best college towns in the country. Now, I will say this: Luke Fickell has done a terrible job at hiring staff. Terrible. Rack said goat talking. Man, I appreciate it, man. I just just me just talking my mind. But so Luke Fickell, man, hired Phil Longo, who was washed long ago, and Alex Grinch is his co-defensive coordinator. I mean, you can't get a worse hire than Alex Grinch. And Phil Longo, veteran of the game. I don't hate the hire. I mean, I don't like the hire. I don't hate it. Hate's a strong word, but man, oh man, Wisconsin has looked like a disaster so far this season, and when you play Alabama in week 3, it's not going to get any better. So, we got the Big Ten tailgate here. We got Mark Ingram about to run over some frat bros. But Wisconsin's a great town. Madison's a great town. Jump around Madtown, whatever you want to call it. Tyler Van Dyke, Alabama legend Tyler Van Dyke. If you know, you know. He's got to play. I mean, to like a Tom Brady Super Bowl level in order for Wisconsin to have a chance today. Chez Malusi, great running back. Wisconsin has always had great running backs, from Melvin Gordon, Braylon Allen to Chez. That's their bread and butter. Alabama has a great defensive line. And it's going to be a mano-a-mano match today. So definitely going to be something to watch out for in the matchup today. We got Darius Rucker performing right now. I need to go turn that down a little bit. Give me a second. We got Nick Saban singing along with Pat McAfee. How about that? We got Nick Saban singing along with Pat McAfee, man. This man, Pat McAfee, and Nick Saban are a fantastic duo. Yeah, Darius Rucker, South Carolina legend, performing a little bit at game day. But back to Alabama, Wisconsin. Jalen Milroe needs to look way more consistent in the short and intermediate pass game. It's been his weakness for a couple of years now. I mean, it's just it's time. Come on. You got Kalen DeBoer as your offensive coordinator, quarterback guru. You worked your butt off all offseason to get better at this stuff. You have a chance today to prove it against a low to mid-tier Big Ten team. Like, let's go. This is Alabama football. Do it. You have fantastic receivers. Do your job. Let's go. Jalen Milroe, Jam Miller is going to run the hell out of the ball today. Alabama 16-point favorites. I don't know about like them covering. I mean, they should. That spread is a little iffy on my brain, but uh, I like Alabama by double digits. We want to jump to another game. We can get to BC, Boston College, number 24 Boston College, playing number 6 Missouri. Shout out to Eli Drinkwitz for pulling this Missouri program out of the dust to number 6. They're showing this right now. Missouri has 11 consecutive scoreless quarters. That's beyond impressive. That goes all the way back to Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. So it just makes it even more impressive. So you just salute to Eli Drinkwitz. Luther Burden and Cook and Co. and Nate Noel. Maybe we'll see a Williams Nawari sighting today. We'll see Chris McClellan, but I'd like to see a little bit more of Theo Weiss today, just that 1-2 punch at receiver. But I'm really looking out for Tommy Castellanos, Boston College quarterback, and the running game. Is that a robot? Eli Drinkwitz? What? All right. What world do we live in? But yeah, let's do this thing. Missouri. Let another day, another standout victory for Eli Drinkwitz, defying the odds, and just need him to keep that program rolling so he can keep defying the odds, just like I said. So that's that for that game. If we want to talk about Boston College, we got to talk about FSU. FSU plays Memphis today. Obviously, the storyline of that game is pretty big. Mike Norvell, former coach at Memphis, got hired to FSU. Long story short, FSU is very much struggling with evaluating players in the portal and play on and off the field. They're running around the practice field shooting water guns at people. People are saying that they're a joke of a program. It's pretty bad in Tallahassee right now. So they need to come out. They're less than a touchdown favorites against a G5 team, regardless of, Memphis is a good team. This is a team that was runner-up for the ACC conference, a playoff snub last year. And then you go into today and you're essentially, you're on upset alert for the third straight week, which is, the worst possible scenario you could have asked for going into the season. So Mike Norvell, he's got to turn it up today with probably the most inconsistent quarterback in college football, and DJ, you ain't gonna catch it. DJ, you need a job. Whatever you say, whatever you mean, it's bad in Tallahassee. So that defensive line needs to show out because they were going into the season. I mean, Game Day in Ireland was saying that they were going to be one of the best defensive lines in college football. I mean, these guys look like they are the worst defensive line in college football. I mean, these guys look like they were all frauds in the portal. Like the ROI on the investment Florida State put into these players, getting them from the portal and, recruiting, et cetera, is beyond negative right now. So a lot of things need to go right in Tallahassee today. Besides that, we got Texas A&M playing at Florida. Texas A&M is 4-point favorites on the road. This is a huge game coming off of what was a kind of a bright spot, if you could say, in the Florida program, with finally seeing DJ Lagway get a start. Obviously, it's against a JV team in Samford. They won by 40-plus points. If you just look at Billy Napier's offense, it's vanilla. The wide receivers run routes that don't help each other. They are bunched together. It is probably beyond, it makes people beyond angry just how like selfish and just vanilla and, bland that offenses that Billy Napier has, and the fact that he is reluctant to hand over the keys to, you know, take advice and, just, accept that he is not a good play caller. He's gotten fired reluctantly over his career for being a bad play caller. So it's going to be really interesting this week to see what Texas A&M defense has in plan for Florida. Obviously, Texas A&M's 1-1. They do not look the best. They obviously lost week 1 against a team in Notre Dame that got upset by Northern Illinois. That's never a good thing, but it's any given Saturday in college football. So we'll look at that. Connor Wigman is questionable, game time decision with an upper body injury. Holy crap. And then Graham Mertz is going to start today for Florida, coming back from a concussion. Whew. You will see DJ Lagway today as well, out on the field. So, it's going to be, there's a lot of implications on line every single week for Florida and for Billy Napier's tenure, but it's pretty much all done. Billy Napier is, sitting on a $26 million buyout that he is a lucky man that he just kind of got gifted that horrendous contract by Florida. And I mean, this guy makes more than Dan Lanning does right now. Scott Strickland, the athletic director at Florida, probably has done one of the worst jobs over the last couple of years. And, he's probably the worst athletic director in college sports right now. So Florida's got a lot to clean up. NIL is not even a top 20 collective. It's bad in Gainesville. So we'll see what they do there. They think they're going to get Lane Kiffin. I don't think they're going to get Lane Kiffin. Florida fans are saying that this crazy good job. To me, they're a relic of the past. Yeah, your concrete stadium sits 100,000 people. That's cool. You have no home field advantage. You lost to Arkansas last year. You got absolutely boat raced by Miami. Your fan base is the most toxic fan base I've seen in a long time. Your local media is just it's like so uninviting. Everything that they make the head coach do and just kind of like drag him along like he's a puppet. It's just like so uninviting and so like unattractive that I don't know who would really want to go coach and try to revive Florida from the dead with how much negative recruiting they get like on them. I mean, it's just piles on piles of just dump that somebody would have to go fix at Florida. So we'll see who they hire, but yeah, it's not pretty in Gainesville. We got Oregon playing Oregon State today. Oregon does not play a team from the state of Idaho, which has been the storyline in the first 2 weeks. They played Idaho, and then they played Boise State. Both those games were close. The state of Idaho has the Oregon Ducks number, even though Oregon came out of that game, those two games 2-0. They play a team outside of the state of Idaho in their own home state, being Oregon State. They go to Corvallis. They are 16-point favorites on the road. So it's time for Dan Lanning. Oregon, Dylan Gabriel, this uber experienced defensive line, secondary, Jabbar Muhammad, Evan Stewart, Trayshawn Holden, Terrence Ferguson. It's time for them to turn it up. Don't know why I keep yawning. Sorry, fellas. But it's time for Oregon to turn it up. Show that they're this top 5 team that everybody predicted them to be. I mean, they're my natty pick. I mean, they had this hard knocks type series, that team out west. I watched all 4 episodes. It was phenomenal. This team looked super, super well coached, super humble, super grounded and down to earth. And for all beings, they are like they are like, you don't expect them to go out every week and just like cakewalk these teams. So it's any given Saturday in college football. I have all the respect in the world for Idaho and Boise State, which Boise State has a phenomenal running back in Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty is a top 3 running back in the nation. There is no debate about it. Go look at his numbers. I mean, he's 5'9". Guy is a bowling ball, bounces off of everybody. It's just ridiculous. So week 1 against Idaho was a lot more concerning than last week against Boise State. But yeah, Oregon should win this game handedly. If they don't, we got a big issue with something in Oregon because they have a phenomenal staff, a phenomenal team, phenomenal head coach, strength and conditioning staff. I mean, everything is top notch at Oregon, from the NIL collective to their facilities to the, like I said, the coaching staff, you name it. So I'm high on the Ducks. I need to see them win big today. But another rivalry game we got out there is the Apple Cup, that being Washington State and Washington. It is in Seattle at the Loud Lumen Field in Washington on the lake. Washington is favored by 5.5 points. Supposed to be a little bit of a good old Washington weather out there. We got some rain in the forecast, low 60s. It's feeling like fall outside. I got my window open. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised here. It's in the low 70s here. It's overcast. There's a little chill in the air. And the leaves are starting to fall. And I mean, we're really in the swing of fall things and fall football out here in the United States. So, it's a great time to be alive. And, going back to Seattle, low 60s today out there, some rain in the forecast. I don't know what to expect from Washington State. I was going to rewatch that Texas Tech Washington State game. Did not have time to do it. So I could not give you an answer about Washington State, but Washington have an uber experienced quarterback, Will Rogers, coming over from Mississippi State, the last quarterback to be coached under the legendary Mike Leach. Rest in peace, rest in power to Mike Leach. Washington State legend, Texas Tech legend as well. So I would assume that this is a past team. I mean, Jedd Fisch had Noah Fifita and Tyrone McMillan last year. Obviously you add those two guys together, that's a pass happy offense. I would expect Will Rogers to be in a kind of air raid system under Fisch. So let's see how that goes. But don't know what else to really tell you about Washington. Have not dove too much into their depth chart and into their just like overall performances this season. But the other games we got the backyard brawl. We got West Virginia playing at Pitt in Heinz Field. Don't care what you have to say. In Pittsburgh, West Virginia, obviously really rough showing in week 1 against Penn State. A great, great, great defense. Pittsburgh is 2-0. Did I expect Pittsburgh to start out 2-0? Probably with their schedule. But Eli Holstein, former Alabama quarterback, transfers to Pitt. Really crowded quarterback room in Alabama. Somebody was destined to transfer out of that room. Ended up being Eli. Eli finds a new home with Pat Narduzzi in Pittsburgh. He's putting up great numbers. He has 635 yards through 2 games, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks. They have a really good rushing attack. Their running back Reed has 33 carries for 293 yards and a touchdown. I mean, not much more you can ask for Pitt, especially coming back from 21 down versus Cincinnati last week, coming back to win. So it's going to be a hot one today in Pittsburgh, 87 degrees. sunny as it's always sunny up there this time of year. So it's sunny in Pittsburgh today. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a backyard brawl. West Virginia's favored by 2.5 points. Super close games on the sports book. So, I'm going to be uber excited for that one. 3:30 on ESPN2. An interesting game that we have today. That I am personally keeping an eye for. I know this is not an uber talented team, but Trent Dilfer and UAB are going to Fayetteville to play Arkansas, and Sam Pittman and Mike Petrino, or Bobby Petrino, excuse me. Bobby Petrino had a really, really, really off the rails game last week versus Oklahoma State. I mean, that game was diabolical. It was hilarious. Don't care what you have to say about it. I was laughing my butt off the whole second half of that game. But UAB is 22-point underdogs today against Arkansas. They might be my super dog. I'm still up in the air about who I'm going to pick as my super dog. But, it is what it is. And I think that game's going to be a little bit closer than 22 points. So keep your eye out on UAB at Arkansas today. Another interesting game that we have today, even though they might be 0-2, Old Dominion damn near beat South Carolina week 1. They should have beat South Carolina week 1. They play on the road in Blacksburg at Virginia Tech today. Virginia Tech, obviously, notoriously lost to Vanderbilt in Diego Pavia in week 1. They bounced back last week versus Marshall. They play Old Dominion today. Virginia Tech is favored by 16.5. Old Dominion is not a bad team. I mean, they had a highlight play against South Carolina that, the wide receiver's name is Zay. I mean, this guy just completely destroyed a South Carolina DB's ankles. I mean, you want to talk about a clip from start to finish of snatching somebody's ankles and soul. Textbook. That's what it was right there from Old Dominion. And he dove for the pylon and got the touchdown in that play. So shout out to Zay. But Virginia Tech, Drones is their quarterback, super good dual threat guy, has not put up the numbers people expect him to for within the first 2 weeks. Hasn't been horrible, hasn't been the best, but they need to get Tootin going, their running back. He's got under 200 yards through 2 weeks. They need to get who's their star wide receiver? I'm drawing a blank. Looking at the stats right now. Give me 1 second. Statistics. Wide receiver. Daquan Felton. Daquan Felton is their best wide receiver. He only has 4 receptions for 27 yards this season. He was great last year. Obviously, you lost some guys in the portal over the process from the winter to the spring, but Daquan Felton stayed. You need to get him going. You need to get Karen Drones going too, and Tootin. So that's the 1-2-3 combo for Virginia Tech. You get those guys rolling, you will have a good game today. Let me see where Chandler is. It's about time he hops in here. But yeah, that was a couple of games from this Saturday. I'm gonna go check the sports book right now and see which games I like, which player props I like. Paul Feinbaum's got some weird green sunglasses on right now. I got some bow ties on right now. I always love seeing Tim Tebow, phenomenal human being. You can't really get much better of a human than Tim Tebow. It's really hard. But besides that, Florida needs to come out and have a statement win today. I mean, that's really all I got to say. Because if they lose at home, one, their home field advantage is no longer existent. The swamp, the so hard swamp, you got beat by the worst Arkansas team in the SEC, like long time. It was a depleted, defeated, mentally checked out Arkansas team last year. You were wearing your black jerseys you bring to your team every year, Billy Napier, and you wore black to your own fucking funeral. Like, come on, dude. Like that. I mean, if that doesn't just summarize how bad that Billy Napier experiment has gone in Florida, I mean, I don't know what else does. But let's go check the sports book here. See what bets I like today, from player props to just spreads. I did have UNLV +9 last night. It was my, I guess, Friday super dog. They won outright, so shout out to UNLV. Memphis has moved down to a 6.5 point underdog. This game was at 7.5, 8 to start. Moved all the way down to 6.5. LSU's down to a 6-point favorite at South Carolina. Missouri's down to 14.5, was at like 16 and 17. Texas A&M is down to a 3-point favorite, was at 4. Washington went up from a 4-point favorite to a 6-point favorite. West Virginia at Pitt is a 1.5-point spread. I am going to wager some money on West Virginia -1.5. I'm going to wager $15. What do I want to parlay that with? How about Tulane at Oklahoma? Tulane, a team that has fought tooth and nail all year long. Obviously did not beat Kansas State. Kansas State is not the best offensive team in the world. They are a very disciplined defensive team. They are a very heavy run team. DJ Giddens is a phenomenal running back. Dylan Edwards, sorry. Dylan Edwards had a punt return touchdown last night for a touchdown. Was electric. Had the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas going crazy. So Avery Johnson has some improvement, kind of rookie-ish mistakes, kind of rookie moment, whatever you want to call it. But there's some growth that needs to be done there by Avery Johnson at Kansas State. So I'm going to be looking out for Oklahoma, who did kind of have a big scare last week versus Houston, a Houston team that is essentially at rock bottom. So, we just, we got to see that Oklahoma offensive line is kind of makeshift right now. They had 2 starters out last week, kind of shifted guys around. They had 1 starter that was in the same position he was week 1, obviously in week 2. So it's going to be really interesting to see how, that game goes, and if Oklahoma can really lead on their defense. Danny Stutzman, all-world linebacker, guy flies all over the field. Jackson Arnold, young gun-slinging quarterback, got Deion Burks, transfer from Purdue, phenomenal wide receiver. Did not get enough love in the portal. I gave him some love in the portal. Was fringe top 10 receiver in college football on the CFH list. So, dealing with Farouk being out for a couple of weeks. I think he broke his foot. Terrible news to hear. So, just got to keep it rolling. Taylor Tatum, young running back, freshman. He's provided some spark plays. So let's see if Oklahoma can get it rolling today. Brent Venables, he's the guy for Oklahoma. He fits it. And, the Sooners, the new SEC team, Just gotta see them keep their head above water, because if they lose this one, this is not going to be good, because they got a really tough schedule coming up. So that's that. I do not think Tulane will cover 13. I don't really want to bet money on that, because that is really iffy. Just like from what happened last week in Oklahoma's game versus Houston, that like it screams bounce back dominating win for Oklahoma this week. It's just Tulane. You never know what to expect from them. So Notre Dame is 7.5-point favorites at Purdue. There's a lot of people that are predicting Notre Dame to have a really, just dominant win today. I'm going to take that. Not 7.5. I'm going to take the money line. I really think Notre Dame bounces back today. They have to. They really have no other option. Ole Miss is playing Wake Forest. Ole Miss, 21-point favorite. Lane Kiffin's got the best team he's ever had at Ole Miss, marching into Winston-Salem. Jackson Dart, dirtbag quarterback of the year. I mean, this guy is a stud. Say what you want about some recent things that have come out and, kind of been said about what he's done in the last year and a half. But this guy balls out every Saturday. He's locked in. He's a dark horse for Heisman. He's having fun. Love the Rebs today. Walter Nolan and co. That secondary needs to get it together for Ole Miss. But that front side of the defense, the defensive line, the linebacker room is phenomenal. Pete Golding's got them rolling. That secondary wakes up today. It's going to be trouble for anybody they play. Love Ole Miss. Not necessarily minus 21. I need to see them play at least somebody with a pulse yet, just for my own being about this. But yeah, I don't know where Chandler is, to be honest with you. Somebody find him. But Ole Miss plays Wake Forest today, minus 1,600 on the money line. Take that if you want. Vanderbilt moved down to all the way to -8 this week on the spread. They were at 10.5-point favorites at some point. They play in Atlanta today, home of CFH, at the good old Turner Field, which is now Center Park Stadium. Old Brave Stadium turned Georgia State football field. Love the turnover. It was a no-brainer decision. Pre-existing standing stadium for Georgia State. Obviously, they used to play in the Georgia Dome, which got demolished, turned in, which is what now is the Home Depot backyard in downtown Atlanta, right next to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Georgia State does not need to play in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The stadium fits them perfectly. Long story short, I do think it's cool Vanderbilt is traveling away to Georgia State, just because you don't see an SEC team going to a Sun Belt team like this. Yes, I get it. It's kind of convenient location-wise. Nashville to Atlanta is an easy, 2.5, 3-hour drive at the most. So, easy commute for both teams. Vanderbilt has proven all of us wrong. Their win total was at 2.5 to start the season. They're 2-0. They win today. They're over their win total 3 weeks into the season. That is insane. Clark Lee saving his job at Vanderbilt. So love Vanderbilt -8 today. This game, G5 game, I debated about the Superdog is Southern Miss. Southern Miss is a team full of just D1 transfers that did not work out at their team. And they play USF. Obviously, USF played really well against Alabama last week. Hung in there for 4 quarters. And their Southern Miss is at home. They're 12.5-point underdogs to a team that kind of got beat up last week. I just, something about Southern Miss just screams that they're gonna cover the spread. So if I could have 2 super dogs this week, it would be Southern Miss and UAB. Love San Jose State, Nick Nash, the GOAT, wide receiver. He can do it all. They're 18-point favorites over another Georgia team. Hootie hoot, Kennesaw State Owls, the newest FCS team. So Kennesaw State goes all the way to California to play San Jose State. I don't think this game should be close. This game should be a good win for San Jose State. Now, Toledo goes to Starkville, Mississippi. They play Mississippi State. I don't know what to make of this Toledo team. Obviously, they lost their quarterback to Quan Finn to Baylor. I mean, it's a 10.5-point spread. Mississippi State is kind of starting from scratch. The Zach Arnett era was a epic failure. I don't think anybody expected it to be a successful, 10-win era. It was just kind of the in-house hire to get them over the hump, find somebody after the tragic passing of Mike Leach. And now Jeff Lebby runs the show there. So we'll see what Blake Shapen and Jeff Lebby have in store for today, but that game is, just a little iffy. Now, UCF is 2.5-point underdogs at TCU today. I am a big supporter of the Knights. TCU, I have been calling. I don't think Sonny Dykes is going to last long there. I really don't know what to make of this game. This game has I really hope UCF wins, but I really don't know what to make of this game so far. So if I had to build a 4-leg parlay right now, my 4-leg parlay is West Virginia minus 1.5, Notre Dame money line, Vanderbilt minus 8, and San Jose State money line. That is at what? Plus 432. Gonna wager $20 on it to win, or $15 on it to win 64. So let's place your bets. Best of luck to everybody today. Kind of a short different kind of show today. Sorry that this wasn't normal. Hopefully next Saturday we'll be back, me and Chandler. But make sure you're liked and subscribed here to this College Football Headlines channel. I'm your host, CFH, also known as Tate. Call me whatever you want. Call me an idiot. Call me a, numbnut. Call me knucklehead. Stupidest guy on earth, whatever you want to say. I just do me, man. Follow me on Twitter at CFB Headlines. Subscribe here. Follow on the YouTube channel at CFB Headlines as well. Thank y'all for tuning in, and see y'all next week. Peace.